Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Patty Giarrusso, and this is Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Today's guest, we welcome back Kathy POBLOSKIE from Lost Dogs of America. And what we're going to talk about today is an important topic, and it's what to do if your pet is lost on vacation. Vacations are one of the times where it's very common for a family pet to become lost. And when pets are outside of their comfort zone, and you might not know anybody in the area, it's a panic situation. You don't know what to do, where to turn, and you need to act fast. So Kathy's here today to talk with us about that and the tips and steps and everything you'll need to know to do if you lose your pet on vacation. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Patty. Thanks for having me. And what a timely discussion for us to be having because we are traveling right now with our pets.
Oh, geez.
So we are, we're from Wisconsin, and we are actually in South Carolina. We've been on the road for a week now. We've got about another week to go. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the things that we do, the suggestions that that might be helpful, that we do to try to keep our pets safe while we're traveling. And then, again, also if the unthinkable happens and they go missing, what somebody should do then.
Yes, definitely. It's a good topic at a well-needed time.
Yeah. So because last month we talked about what to do if you've left your pet with a pet sitter. So this is kind of the other, thought about vacation as well. Lots of people now take their pets with them, which is great, right? I think it's fun for everyone to take your pets on vacation, but it's also really, really a high risk for the possibility of them going missing.
Right.
And I know it sounds like something that couldn't possibly happen to me, but you and I both know that we take in reports, almost every day about a pet that's gone missing from somebody while they're on vacation, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we do when we're traveling is we just try to prepare. Our microchips are up to date. We before we head out, each day for the drive, we travel with an RV. We have collars and harnesses on our dogs. So our collars, of course, have tags with our cell phone number on them, not our landline, because if your dog goes missing, you want somebody to call your cell phone. You don't want to have to be worrying about retrieving messages from your home phone.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have our dogs, my cell phone number is embroidered on our dogs' collars as well. So even if they lost their tags, our cell phone number is still on the collar. And then our dogs travel in the back seat behind us in our truck, and they're in seat belts. So they have little beds, and they're in seat belts. And they also travel with a leash attached to their harness. And the most critical time from what we have found for taking in reports for missing dogs is when you take your dog out to go potty when you're traveling. That's when dogs go missing from rest stops frequently. And that is the time when you have to be super, super cautious. So this is what my husband and I do. We plan ahead. We try to figure out a place where it's going to be very safe to pull off, hopefully with some good grass and some shade, especially on a day like today, and away from traffic. So pulling into a truck stop is not ideal because they're noisy and the trucks are rumbling, and something might backfire or startle the dogs. So we try to get to a nice rest area where it's quieter, and then we clip an extra. We each go to one side and we clip an extra leash on to the collar. So now we have two leashes on each dog. He takes one, I take the other. We lift them out of the truck and we put handles of those leashes over our wrist. And then we let them take them out, let them do their business, maybe offer them a drink of water, and then as quickly as possible get them back in the vehicle, because that's where they're the safest. That's where, in the vehicle, in their seatbelts, that's where they're going to be the safest. And so we try to minimize the number of times we take them out during the day. Of course, they have to go to the bathroom when they go to the bathroom, but we try not to just do a whole bunch of stops if we can at all help it, until we're safely at our destination. And anything to add with that? Like, is there something that you do when you're traveling?
I don't travel, unfortunately. I don't travel with my pets because we just don't have the vehicle for 4 pets. So,
right.
And my husband doesn't have the patience for it. But but no, I do. I liked listening to what you just said, because if I did travel with them, I will now do it exactly like you do. I mean, just having the double ID, the collar, the tags, the double leashes, the quiet space. That's all such important information for somebody. I just returned from a trip to New York driving with my husband, and I saw several people with their pets, at a rest area, and one was at a gas station, and that one worried me, just like you said, because a truck comes in and it makes those, however the air brake sounds or whatever, and it frightens them. And I see, like you do, the pets that are lost at rest areas or gas stations, and it's so easy. Even opening the door, there was a woman next to us at a gas station, and her dog was in the back seat, just sitting there. And she's opening the door to get her gas, and I'm just waiting for that dog to bolt. I was just listening to what you said is helpful to me, and I'm sure very helpful to others.
So and some people travel with their pets in crates, which is a really great idea. I always have to think about what would happen if you were in an accident. If your dog is just loose in the car, if somebody had to come and rescue you, there's a pretty good chance that your dog's going to get out.
Right.
So keeping your dog secure in your vehicle is really important. I'll just tell one real horror story, but I hope there's a lesson in this, about a lady that filed a report with us. And I'll tell you right now that unfortunately the dog was never found. She had heard her husband had pulled into a gas station and had gotten very distracted. She actually lifted the dog out and set it down on the ground to go potty on a little piece of grass or whatever while he was putting gas in. And in the meantime, her phone rang inside the car. She reached in to get her phone, and it was kind of a bad phone call, some family health problem or something. And they got in the car and they forgot the dog.
Oh.
And of course, at the next, it wasn't too long before they realized that they didn't have the dog. But by then, they had already gotten back onto the interstate. They had to find the next exit, turn around, go back, and the dog was gone. Probably picked up by somebody that assumed that the dog was dumped. If we're like, oh my gosh, who would ever dump their dog at a gas station? I need to take this little dog home. But it wasn't. Right. They were frantic. But unfortunately, the dog was never ever found. So yeah, just being really, really aware of your circumstances and what you're doing, and just go slow. There's no need. Rushing is when accidents happen.
Yeah.
Some of the I guess. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Some of the things that I kind of see as problems with the whole traveling with your pet is that you might not know the geography, or you might not even know the county you're in, or just try to be aware of all that stuff. And one of the things that we mean to do, but we just haven't done yet in this RV, is to put a little whiteboard right at the door as we go into our RV, and every night to put on there where we are, what campsite we're at, what's the name of the campsite, what is the closest municipality, and what's the county. Because when you're in a panic, I can tell you, I don't know what county I was in last night,
Yeah.
and I need to know that stuff. One of the other things that I think that you kind of want to think about is, if you're camping, is the campground you're going to, do they have fireworks? Because a lot of campgrounds do allow fireworks. And I've been pleased this trip that some of the campgrounds we've gone to have just are really strict about fireworks. Absolutely no fireworks allowed. And so I think, it would be really prudent if you have a dog that's especially afraid of fireworks, is to call ahead and make sure that your campground does not allow fireworks. Because in the summertime, of course, people don't always do fireworks on the 4th of July. They do them whenever.
Yeah.
And if you're at a campground that allows fireworks, your dog could get really, really startled really quickly. And now they're lost to somewhere else, other than home.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, of course, if you're in a campground, perhaps in a state park or something, you could have very limited cell phone service or Wi-Fi, and that, causes a problem if your dog does go missing, because you may be limited in how quickly you can start to get the word out about them being missing and printing flyers and doing all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So
those
are sort of some of the limitations.
Yeah. So let's talk about the worst case scenario. And you're at a campground or somewhere on vacation. It doesn't have to be a campground. It could be, a beach house or something. It doesn't matter. What would be your first steps being out of town when you don't know anybody? What would you recommend people do?
Well, the first thing we always recommend is that these dogs generally do not go very far from home, or go very far from where they went missing from, if they're missing from somewhere other than home. So putting out those scent articles, an article of your dirty clothing, and the dog's bed or blanket, where at the point where they went missing from, is the first thing that we always recommend. We also recommend putting some food out there, but just be aware that some campgrounds don't allow that. You're better off to stay on their good side, because if your dog is missing for more than a few hours and say you have to leave, you want to keep those park officials on your good side, right? To help you. So you don't want to be breaking any rules. So you want to check on that about leaving food. But if you can at all, if you're at a beach house or something and you can leave some food out, that's always a good idea. And then, of course, starting to spread the word right away. So, filing a report, letting the management know if you're at a campground or at a hotel or at a beach house, letting them know, and they'll probably offer you some advice too. And then, filing a report with all the local authorities, and usually we call the police first. They're going to be able to tell you where the closest animal shelter is, and then you want to call them right away. And I'd ask them, again, keep on friendly terms with them. Ask them if there's any lost, pet groups in the area that are running on some sort of a volunteer basis that you should be filing with, and see if any of those have any kind of boots on the ground people to help in case you have to leave, go home or whatever, and it's a long-term situation. We have one of those right now in my area back home, where the people had to leave and the dog went missing on 4th of July from fireworks. But we luckily have a volunteer that lives really close by and is, continuing to do all of the legwork for them.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one that was here visiting as well and lost her dog, and she extended her stay but still was not able to find it. And I believe because it was a cute little dog that somebody just picked it up and decided to keep it. But, it's heartbreaking and I cannot imagine that scenario of being in another state or wherever and losing your pet and not knowing, and you have to leave. I can only imagine that's one of the worst gut-wrenching things as a pet parent you'd have to do,
Right. Yeah. The people that I'm talking about in